You're not imagining it. And that tension is uncomfortable for a reason. If you feel drawn here, it's rarely because nothing is happening. Something is unfolding, even if it's unclear. Conversations replay in your mind. Moments that felt charged linger in memory. You question yourself. Did I misread it? Or worse, did I miss a cue I was supposed to notice? Here's the truth most men never hear clearly. When a woman likes you but is trying not to reveal it, the confusion you sense isn't random. It's psychological tension. Your nervous system senses it before your conscious mind can label it. Men who observe rather than react usually pick up on this first. They don't immediately chase or assume. They notice patterns. And if you're one of those men, you've likely asked yourself a quiet question you never voice aloud. If she doesn't like me, why does it feel like she does? This video is not about manipulation, mind games, or playing hard to get. It's about understanding the emotional intelligence behind restrained attraction and why her hesitation shifts behavior, not desire. Mutual friends, workplace dynamics, or simply not knowing where you stand can create this delicate tension. And here's what is missed by most. Even when someone is actively trying to manage their feelings, the body subtly leaks truth. Once you recognize these leaks, the confusion dissipates, not because you become bolder, but because you stop guessing. Before we go deeper, understand this. Missing these signals before doesn't make you oblivious. It makes you untrained. Once you understand, there's no going back. Let's begin with the first subtle indication, almost invisible unless you know what to look for. Her feet. Yes, the feet. The body naturally orients toward what the mind desires. Someone waiting to leave angles their feet toward the exit. Someone focusing on a conversation or meal leans accordingly. And when someone is emotionally tuned to another person, the feet often betray it, even when eyes or words don't. This is unconscious. Her nervous system guides it, not conscious thought. If she's chatting with others, laughing, yet a foot consistently points toward you, that's an attention leak. Sitting down, a crossed leg subtly tilting your way, conveys focus. It's tiny, easily overlooked, yet authentic. Those trying to mask attraction often control voice, expressions, and words. But forget the feet. Once you notice this, it becomes evident in many interactions, even your own. Recognizing it changes perception. You stop wondering, because now you know. Hold off acting yet, though, because the next indicator reveals emotional alignment at a deeper level. She mirrors you subtly. This isn't exaggerated mimicry, it's a psychological bridge. Casual similarities, shared humor, preferences, or habits, pointed out almost by accident, build safety. Neutral individuals remain surface level. Those interested but cautious do this unconsciously. She asks herself, if I allow myself to like him, does it make sense? Notice how she gauges your reaction, not the words themselves, but your acknowledgement of the connection. Do you dismiss it, downplay it, or stay composed? Observant men pass this silent test without realizing it. It's subtle, yet revealing. And again, the next sign moves from abstract interest into physical cues. Touch reveals more than words. When she brushes past, laughs with a light touch, or nudges playfully without necessity, it's not casual. Human beings rarely cross physical boundaries without some internal emotional allowance. For cautious, socially aware women, touch acts as a small pressure valve, releasing unspoken attraction. Alone, each gesture seems trivial. Together, they form a pattern. Importantly, touch is not a call to action. It's information. Men who rush it often misinterpret it, seeking certainty too soon. Observant men allow these gestures to build a consistent narrative. Conflicting behaviors like touching then pulling back indicate internal tension, attraction versus self-restraint. Keep this in mind as we examine the next behavioral signal. Laughter is another subtle indicator. When she laughs more than the context warrants, it's not about humor, it's emotional bias. Even minor jokes resonate differently when attraction exists. Genuine, unfiltered laughs, often momentary surprises, signal emotional engagement. In socially acceptable ways, she can reveal interest while telling herself it's casual. Noticing her laughter, especially when she quickly recenters herself, is critical. This micro shift in behavior signals she caught herself exposing too much, and it transitions naturally into the next observation. Eye contact intensifies the narrative. This isn't a casual glance, it's prolonged, almost imperceptible holding of gaze. Eye contact conveys exposure and vulnerability, avoided by those who fear connection, yet sustained by those who desire it internally. It hovers at the edge of conscious awareness. When she locks eyes longer than expected, that's emotional communication, a silent, wordless signal saying, "If I hold it, will he notice?" Many men misread this. Understanding this nuance turns ambiguity into insight. The chin tuck follows, subtle, nearly imperceptible. She catches herself, lowers her chin, perhaps smiles slightly or exhales. This is physiological, not shyness, a response to emotional exposure. Her body signals attraction, self-consciousness, and temporary withdrawal before revealing further. Perceptive men sense this without fully knowing why. They simply notice the shift. This subtle cue bridges into the final behavioral clue. Attention collapse is the ultimate giveaway. Observe her presence around you. Subtle shifts as you enter a space. Phone usage declines. Conversation tempo adjusts. Focus narrows. Emotional neutrality disperses awareness. Restrained attraction condenses it. If she remembers past details, maintains mental presence, or limits distraction, it's not mere politeness, it's investment. This final signal answers unspoken questions men often fear to ask directly. It's not dramatic or forceful. It's a quiet, consistent realignment of attention. Tension arises because proximity exists without explicit clarity, which explains the confusion. Now here's the perspective many men never hear. Attraction that is emotionally intelligent doesn't scream, it leaks. Through posture, attention, gestures, and micro-behaviors, attraction communicates before conscious acknowledgement. Calm, grounded men often receive this subtly because they provide a safe emotional environment. Safety allows liking without exposure risk. This is why it surfaces in social circles, workplaces, or with mutual acquaintances. Blame doesn't belong here. You weren't oblivious. You lacked the framework to interpret these microsignals. Understanding them changes behavior. Stop forcing clarity. Stop seeking validation. Stop over-analyzing. Observation becomes your guide. When these patterns are recognized, men shift naturally. They speak less, observe more, stop chasing every minor signal, and recognize behavioral consistency as truth. Relationships evolve. Some deepen, some fade, but confusion dissipates. Control is no longer about influencing her behavior. It's about regulating your perception. This is where emotional intelligence transforms interaction. Attraction, even when restrained, is persistent. Emotional regulation allows men to respond with composure rather than impulsivity. Men who internalize this understanding do not manipulate. They let reality unfold. Silence is not passivity. Observing without immediate intervention communicates awareness. Many moments that previously caused uncertainty now serve as information. Distinguishing between interest and availability becomes clear. Desire may exist without action. Interest may be present without courage. Acceptance of this subtle dynamic brings autonomy, freeing you from emotional reactivity. Past confusion fades because clarity doesn't come from answers. It comes from standards. Recognizing restrained attraction prevents over-personalization of ambiguous behavior. Mixed signals are no longer puzzles. They are indicators of readiness, safety, and emotional alignment. A woman may like you, but remain unavailable for her own reasons. Attraction is not permission, chemistry is not obligation, and interest is not intent. This understanding shifts focus inward, toward self-regulation, rather than outward, toward chasing uncertain outcomes. Men attuned to these signals observe without seeking validation, noting whether behaviors move closer or remain suspended, whether tension resolves or cycles, whether interest matures or stays contained. If contained, release follows, emotionally neutral, mentally resolved. Control is internal, awareness, not dominance. This differentiation creates selectivity. Selectivity is clarity, not arrogance. Observant men no longer attach self-worth to signals or intensity. They recognize patterns, stay grounded, and respond without unnecessary explanation. This internal upgrade solidifies identity, no longer wondering, did she like me? But understanding attraction exists and how it manifests. Observations are consistent, not reactive. Emotional fog dissipates. You allow others to reveal themselves over time, responding proportionally, decisively, without compulsion. Attraction either meets you or doesn't. Your stability remains constant. This is grounded presence, not detachment. Behavior is informational. Once internalized, this framework transforms navigation of human interaction. Men no longer chase attraction, demand clarity, or escalate for reassurance. They recognize nuanced behavioral language, track consistency, and prioritize emotional safety. Emotional intelligence guides action, not impulsivity. Awareness enables calm evaluation and measured response. Presence becomes a test. Others reveal their stance without provocation. This self-regulation redefines relational engagement. Understanding these microsignals, feet orientation, mirroring behaviors, subtle touch, laughter, prolonged eye contact, chin tucks, and focused attention offers a comprehensive map. Men gain clarity and control over perception rather than outcome. Emotional intelligence allows navigation without overinterpretation, speculation, or unnecessary pressure. This shift promotes consistent evaluation, grounded presence, and selective engagement. Misreading intensity as certainty becomes unlikely. Consistency becomes the metric of reality. Attraction hidden or restrained is still attraction. Emotional alignment occurs within safety parameters. Men attuned to these patterns respond by regulating perception, observing cues, and allowing natural progression. Past misinterpretations of mixed signals transform into awareness of behavioral truths. Men stop chasing validation, stop forcing interaction, and instead let relational dynamics unfold organically. This framework changes approach, less reactive, more observant, prioritizing presence over pursuit. Emotional clarity replaces confusion. Behavioral observation replaces speculation. Internal regulation replaces external chasing. Attraction, when real, demonstrates consistency, and absence of action reflects emotional containment rather than rejection. Men who internalize these principles navigate interactions with calm authority, grounded presence, and selective responsiveness. Ultimately, recognition of these subtle behavioral cues allows men to operate from awareness, understanding attraction's manifestation, respecting emotional safety, and observing consistency without personalizing ambiguity. This transformation fosters clarity, self-directed engagement, and stability, independent of external validation or forced outcomes. Awareness, regulation, and observation become the tools of interaction, replacing confusion, impulsivity, and misinterpretation. For those following this framework, the internal landscape shifts, less reactive, more observant, and selectively engaged. Each interaction provides data, and each behavioral cue informs understanding. Emotional intelligence replaces speculation. Presence becomes authority. Clarity is achieved not through escalation, but through observation and self-regulation. Attraction, whether expressed or restrained, becomes understandable. Confusion dissipates. Misreading fades. Men operate from grounded awareness, selectively responsive, and emotionally steady. This is the internal evolution, from reactive to observant, from seeking validation to understanding patterns, from personalizing ambiguity to decoding behavioral information. Once internalized, men move with quiet authority, aware of microsignals, grounded in presence, and free from emotional volatility. Attraction is contextualized, signals are interpreted accurately, and interactions unfold with clarity. Emotional regulation allows selective engagement, consistent evaluation, and responsive presence. Dr. Sophia Bennett, Remember, the goal isn't to manipulate, control, or rush outcomes. It's to observe, understand, and respond with clarity. The nervous system often perceives what conscious thought misses. Awareness of microsignals empowers men to navigate relationships with confidence and emotional intelligence. Presence, observation, and self regulation become the foundation for consistent, clear relational interaction. Confusion becomes informational. Emotional turbulence transforms into clarity. Patterns replace guesswork. Grounded observation becomes your tool for evaluating attraction, understanding readiness, and respecting emotional alignment. The subtle signs of restrained attraction, orientation, mirroring, touch, laughter, gaze, chin tucks, and attention offer a behavioral roadmap. When understood, these signals allow men to decode interest without forcing action, escalating, or misinterpreting. Emotional intelligence enables observation of reality rather than projection of desire. Presence communicates readiness, stability, and composure, inviting natural progression of attraction without compulsion. Patterns reveal truth. Consistency demonstrates intention. Emotional awareness, self-regulation, and selective engagement replace impulsivity, overinterpretation, and anxiety-driven reaction. By internalizing this framework, men cease chasing validation, stop interpreting intensity as certainty, and stop personalizing ambiguity. Attraction is contextualized, behavioral patterns are understood, and interactions unfold organically. Emotional intelligence, grounded awareness, and observation replace confusion, impulsivity, and reactive behavior. Attention to subtle microsignals informs understanding and guides presence, enabling selective, steady engagement with others. Emotional clarity becomes standard. Misinterpretation diminishes. Patterns replace assumptions. Consistency replaces speculation. Ultimately, mastery of these behavioral insights empowers men to move through interactions with calm authority, grounded presence, and selective responsiveness. Confusion gives way to observation. Intensity is distinguished from intention. Attraction is understood contextually. Emotional regulation replaces impulsive reaction. Presence, observation, and selective engagement form the foundation of informed interaction, enabling men to navigate attraction with clarity, composure, and emotional intelligence. This framework transforms relational perception, enhances self-directed behavior, and promotes consistent, grounded engagement.